And you also had a lot of fans supporting you here in Linz tonight. A lot of fans from the Philippines, but I heard they actually live in Austria. Some of them are in Vienna, some of them in Linz, in Salzburg. What did it mean to you to also have a lot of people cheering for you?
It means so much. Hello mga kababayan. Hindi ko inakala ang dami ninyo dito sa Linz, pero salamat sa pagsubaybay sa mga laban ko at magkita tayo tomorrow. Yes.
And going back to Linz, I know it's your first time here. How do you enjoy it so far?
I think it's amazing. I'm really happy with how they've welcomed me and welcomed the Filipinos. I think, I guess we match really well because there are a lot of them here. So I'm really thankful for the hospitality. I hope to discover your culture more and have some fun on the court.
That woman you just watched, grateful, warm, talking about discovering a new culture and having fun on the court, spent the 90 minutes before that interview doing something the tennis world had already decided she could not do. 6-4, 6-3, 1 hour and 42 minutes, straight sets, on red clay, in Austria, against a clay court veteran with 369 career wins on the surface, playing in front of her home crowd, in a stadium that had come to watch her win, against a crowd that screamed against Eala on every single point from the first game to the last. And Alexandra Eala walked off that court and smiled like she had always belonged there. Because she does. They built a story about her, neat, tidy, convenient, dangerous on hard courts, harmless on clay. A hard court specialist who would hit the wall the moment the surface slowed down and the ball started kicking higher and the rallies got longer and heavier and more physical. The WTA Tour believed it. The analysts repeated it. The scouting reports reflected it. The algorithms reinforced it match after match, tournament after tournament. And today, on the red dirt of Court Central in Linz, in front of a stadium that had absolutely not shown up to watch her succeed, Eala picked that narrative up, held it at the edges, and tore it in half. But understanding what this result actually means, really means, underneath the scoreline and the highlight clips and the celebration, requires you to sit inside the numbers. Because the numbers from this match are not just impressive, they are a warning. And they are addressed specifically and directly to every single player who remains in this draw. Before today, Eala had played 8 consecutive tournaments on hard courts in 2026. Auckland, Melbourne, Manila, Abu Dhabi, Doha, Dubai, Indian Wells, Miami, 8 tournaments, 0 clay matches, 0 preparation time on the surface, 0 adjustment window, and then she walked straight from the hard courts of the Americas into the red dirt of Austria, into a first-round match against a 13-year clay court specialist playing at home, with her country in the stands and her name on every banner. And Eala won 12 games to 7 in straight sets, like the surface under her feet had never changed. But to understand what that win actually cost her opponent, to understand what it means in the language of professional tennis, rather than the language of headlines, you need to focus on one specific number. The number that should be sitting in the scouting reports of every player left in this draw, like a quiet, cold alarm going off in a room nobody wants to enter. Julia Grabher is a 13-year clay court veteran, 369 wins on the surface. She knows every angle on red dirt, every construction point, every moment where patience gets rewarded and impatience gets punished. She knows clay the way most players know their own game, instinctively, by feel, without having to consciously calculate. And across 1 hour and 42 minutes on her home court, in front of her home crowd, with the full force of an Austrian stadium behind her, she found 10 separate moments where she had earned a breakpoint against Eala's serve. 10 moments where the crowd rose to its feet, where the stadium rattled, where every neutral in the building held their breath and leaned forward expecting the moment Eala would crack. 9 out of 10. Eala saved 9 of them. 90%. She did not flinch. She did not hesitate. She did not allow the noise from the stands to find any gap in what she had built around her concentration. She stood on the edge of the moment 9 separate times, and 9 separate times she reached into something that has nothing to do with serve mechanics or clay court experience, and held. But here's what that 90% actually felt like from the other side of the net. Now close your eyes and put yourself in Grabher's position for a moment. You are home. The crowd is yours. You know this surface the way you know your own breathing. You construct the rally exactly the way your coaches trained you. You move Eala corner to corner. You find the gap in her positioning. You earn the break point. The crowd erupts. The stadium shakes. And she saves it. You do it again. She saves it again. Third time, fourth, fifth. She keeps saving them. Each time you feel the window close, the moment slip, the opening disappear before you can step through it. By the sixth breakpoint, you are no longer playing the tennis you know how to play. You are running full speed into a wall that has decided it will not move. And each time you hit it, you feel the collision a little more in your legs, your chest, your mind. That is what 90% breakpoint defense feels like from across the net. It feels like the vault door slamming shut the exact instant you think you have finally found the combination. It feels like slow motion suffocation, drowning one breath at a time while the person across the net calmly adjusts her strings and waits for the next point with the patience of someone who has already decided, long before you realized it, how this match ends. And while Grabher burned through 10 opportunities and converted just one, Eala was doing something else entirely on the other end of the court. 3 breaks out of 7 chances, 43% conversion. She did not need 10 opportunities. She did not need 8. She identified 7 moments of vulnerability in Grabher's service games, targeted the right 3, and converted all of them. That is not fortune. That is the precise, deliberate gap between a player who is hunting and a player who is hoping. Eala was hunting. She read the patterns, picked her moments with the discipline of someone who understands that not every opportunity is the right opportunity, and attacked with precision that would make any WTA coach rewind the tape and study the decision-making rather than just the shot. But her mental composure under breakpoint pressure was only half of the story. What she did with her own serve on this surface, in her very first clay match of the entire 2026 season, is where this match becomes genuinely alarming for the players still watching from the draw. Her first serve percentage was 60%, 34 out of 50 first serves in the box. On clay, where the ball sits up longer, one where the returner has more time to set their feet and load the return, where every additional fraction of a second becomes an advantage for the person standing at the baseline waiting to swing. 60% on that surface, in those conditions, is not a comforting statistic for the players she will face next. It is a statement of complete intent. It says, I am not going to hand you free points. You are going to have to earn every single one of them on every single point from a position of disadvantage from the very first shot. And when that first serve landed, she won 68% of those points, nearly 7 out of 10. That means Grabher, the clay specialist, at the woman who has built 13 years of expertise learning exactly how to read a serve on this surface, could only win 3 out of every 10 points when Eala's first serve found the box. 3 out of 10 on her own home court, her strongest surface, against a player making her first competitive appearance on clay in 2026. Let that breathe for a second. But here is the number that should genuinely, quietly alarm the rest of this draw. Eala's second serve points won. 63% on second serve. On clay, in her first clay match of the season, the second serve on clay is supposed to be the moment of maximum exposure. The ball hangs in the air a fraction longer. The returner loads the strike. The server is standing at her most open, and the crowd leans forward, sensing the shift. And Eala won nearly 2/3 of those points. She took the moment that was designed to expose her and turned it into a moment she dictated. Her placement, her spin, her ability to build a point from a second serve position, even with an aggressive returner already locked in. It is operating at a level that has nothing to do with surface bias and everything to do with the tactical education she absorbed at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca. That academy built her to construct points under pressure, on any surface, from any position, at any score. Now compare that to what Grabher managed on her own second serve. 50%, a coin flip. Every time she missed her first serve and had to float in a second delivery, the exchange became 50-50. And against a player who reads the ball as early as Eala reads it and moves into position as fast as she does, 50-50 on second serve is not a neutral moment. It is an open invitation with no conditions attached. Eala accepted it every time. She loaded her return. She pressured the rally from the first shot. She turned Grabher's second serve into a door and walked straight through it, again and again, without hesitation. Now pull back and look at the full picture of this match. Total points won, 76-65. Eala won 11 more points than Grabher across the entire match. In a two-set contest, 11 points is not a close margin. It is a canyon. The difference between a player who commanded every phase and a player who was always, at some level, scrambling to stay in it. And she won 12 games to Grabher's 7. Why nearly twice as many? On clay, against a player with 369 career clay wins. In Eala's first clay match of the year, with no warm-up, no adjustment set, no time to find the surface, she did not ease into this. She walked onto it and took it from the first game. That ability to move between surfaces without needing a settling-in period, without showing a moment of searching, without giving her opponent even one game to feel her finding her footing, that is the signature of a player whose game is built on tactical intelligence rather than surface habit. She is not a hardcourt player. She is not a clay player. She is a competitor who has been trained to understand the game itself. And the surface is just the room the game takes place in. And then there is the number nobody saw coming. The one that quietly, completely reframes how she won this match. 0 aces, not one. Across 53 service points won, Alexandra Eala did not hit a single ace. In modern professional tennis, the ace is the emergency exit, the pressure release. The moment a serving weapon reaches into their back pocket when the score tightens and the crowd gets heavy and the body starts to feel the weight of the moment. She had no emergency exit. She did not use one. Every single point she won on serve was earned through construction, placement, spin variation, and the mental clarity to execute complex patterns when the stadium was actively willing her to collapse. She did not blast her way through this match. She thought her way through it. She used the Rafa playbook, the one that says the serve is not a weapon. While the serve is the opening move in a chess match, you have already designed 3 shots before your opponent realizes the design. 0 aces, 90% breakpoint defense, 63% second serve points on clay. She proved that you do not need a 120-mile-an-hour first serve to dismantle a clay veteran on her home court in front of her home crowd. You need a brain, you need composure, and you need the ability to keep executing when the entire stadium is screaming for the other player to win. Eala has all 3, in quantities that should make the remaining players in this draw deeply, quietly uncomfortable. Because the player waiting in the next round is not Grabher. Not even close to Grabher. Jelena Ostapenko, 2017 French Open champion, world number 23, 4th seed in Linz. A woman whose forehand generates topspin at a rate that makes the geometry of the court feel like a different game, and whose backhand finds lines from positions most players would not even attempt the calculation on. She won Roland Garros as an unseeded 20-year-old, walking through the draw on a brand of power tennis that left the entire sport standing still, watching something it had never quite seen before. And the head-to-head between Ostapenko and Eala? 2 matches, 2 Eala victories. She beat Ostapenko at Miami last year 7-6, 7-5 in a match where the Latvian brought everything in her game at Eala and still walked off having come up short. She beat her again at Eastbourne. Eala owns this head-to-head against a former Grand Slam champion. But they have never played on clay. And that is exactly what makes this next round carry so much weight, so much meaning, so much consequence for the story that is still being written around Eala's game. If she beats Ostapenko on clay, the hardcourt specialist narrative does not just crack, it ceases to exist. No argument remains, no asterisk survives, no convenient exception holds. Just the undeniable, unqualified truth that Alexandra Eala is a threat on every surface, in every country, against every tier of opponent the WTA can place in front of her. But before we get there, stay here for a moment longer, because what happened today deserves to be felt properly before it gets filed away as a result on a spreadsheet. Alexandra Eala, 20 20 years old, born in the Philippines, trained at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca. And came into Linz carrying 8 consecutive hardcourt tournaments behind her. No clay matches in 2026, no runway, no preparation. Faced a 13-year clay veteran on home soil in a stadium that had come expecting a hometown win. And she took her apart in straight sets. 9 break points saved out of 10, 63% second serve points on clay, 76 total points to 65, 3 breaks of serve, 1 conceded, 0 aces. She never rushed. She never showed panic. She never let the weight of 10 break points being earned against her, the crowd rising, the stadium shaking, the pressure compressing, get inside the game plan she had already locked around herself before the first point was played. She played like someone who has spent years becoming intimate with this surface, and not like someone who had not stood on it competitively in months. And she did all of it carrying something that weighs more than any racket. 115 million Filipinos were watching, from Manila to Cebu to Davao, from Los Angeles to Dubai, from London to Rome to Tokyo. The Eala army locked in. The streams were packed, the comments were moving faster than the rallies. And Eala felt it. She always does. That interview at the start of this video, her talking about the Filipinos in Austria, about feeling welcomed, about wanting to discover the culture. That is who she is when the match is done. On court, that same warmth becomes something quieter and harder and slower to read. Then it does not announce itself until she is staring down a break point at 3-all in the first set, and the entire stadium is on its feet willing her to fail. Her career clay record before today stood at 14 wins and 21 losses. It is 15-21 now. 1 match, 1 step. Stuttgart is next on the calendar, then Madrid, then Roland Garros. The clay season is no longer a difficult chapter to survive. It is a campaign being built 1 match at a time. And the first battle has been won on terms that no one who doubted her on this surface should be able to walk away from quietly. If you want to be here when the next chapter of this story drops, subscribe. Because Eala's clay season is only just beginning, and what comes next is going to be worth watching from the very first point.